Right. Now, hello everybody. You're very welcome to this virtual classroom today. I hope everybody's well and you're staying safe. I know this is difficult times and strange times, but I suppose we have to just carry on as best we can here now. And I was talking to you, so I put up stuff on the Google Classroom, and we were talking about meet on Monday, and I think that meet might work better with a question and answer session based on the topic that I've given you to cover for Monday. So the question was, it was a health and safety question. Now these come up fairly regularly and they normally appear around question number 2, and I'm just going to go through it here now with you and what you'd be expected, what an actual answer would look like for that particular question. So if you take part A there, okay, first, and I would always tell you to do is to fold your A3 sheet in half, and then you can start answering here then, like so. Bear with me now a second till I get it. Yeah. So personal risk associated with fitting a concrete windowsill on the second story of a dwelling house. So I mean, you have a lot of things there to consider, right? You're fitting a windowsill to a second story in a house. So a windowsill is quite heavy. Okay, so the first thing you could say is there is a risk, okay, of injury to your back due to the excessive weight. Okay, that's one risk. And so there's also a risk because of the height aspect, because remember this is a second story window, so there's a risk of injury due to falling, and there again the height P was a risk to workers on the ground. And why is that? Because tools, obviously, tools and materials could fall down. So there's 3 risks associated with fitting a windowsill to a second story building. That was the first part of part A. The second part of part A was laying pipes and a deep trench. Okay, so obviously there's risks there. You're laying pipes in a trench, so we kind of talked about trenches before. Trenches, if you like, so a deep trench, it says. So there's your trench, okay. Okay, and you're laying pipes in here. Now if you've excavated down here quite a lot, right, if that there is not supported, that side of the trench there, okay, if it's not supported by something, okay, a trench wall, then this here could collapse and on top of the worker, and here while he's laying the pipe. Okay, so that's the first point I want to make. Now it doesn't ask you for notes here as well as sketches, but as I said before, sometimes you need to be very careful in the question. If it says notes and sketches, there's actually equal marks going for both. So, and you don't have to be Leonardo da Vinci at the sketching, you just have to have a sketch. All right, so the risk of the trench falling. Okay, and obviously what would happen, it would crush the workers. And then there's also a risk then, so that's point number one, there's also a risk then of workers above the trench falling into the trench. Risk of workers falling into the trench. Hopefully you can read my writing. Trying to write as big as possible so you can see it. Now, so then that's part A, part AA. And again, the beauty of this here is you're just folding over then and you're just continuing on with the question then. And that's the folding over the sheet. And then the last part of it was, if I'm reading right here, was excavating in an area where there are underground cables. Now, so there's three risks you could mention associated with this as well too. And big risk here is what they're obviously cables and they're obviously electrical, so there's risk of exposing, so they're digging up basically live cables. Okay, and there's 3000 volts flowing through those, so that would be lights out for anybody that would touch them. And there's a risk of obviously severe burns and ELECTRO, was it CUTION, I think. We just can look that up if it's not right. Due to obviously again hitting or unearthing a cable. Okay, because it would just basically split in half, and what would happen is you could have a cable would be, say if you like, your wires bared like that, maybe it would be still attached here, the other wires could be slightly frayed here, and then you'd have your conduit run back, and what would happen, sparks would be jumping over and back between both, and if you're in anywhere near that, they would jump across to you as well, because they're always trying to earth. So that's what's happening there. Electricity is always trying to find an earth. And that is part A answered. Now, so part B is about safety procedures to eliminate risk. Okay, so I'm just checking there to make sure that this is underneath the camera, because this is attached to something, so I can't actually see it, but it seems to be going okay. So safety procedures to eliminate risk. So right, we're fitting a concrete windowsill on the second floor of a dwelling. How would we eliminate the risk of that? So first of all, now we need notes and freehand sketches here. Okay, so first of all, you might have your window like so. Okay, and you might have a nice secure scaffolding level with bottom of the window, so that you could safely work there, obviously with a barrier and a toe board to stop any tools from falling down. So you have your scaffold work platform, and safe access to that. So with ladder, okay, and the max load, okay, so this is a nice one to put in here too. The max load per person is around 20 kg. Now that's from the Safe Pass Ireland, right? So that there's the safe working load that basically a worker can lift. So you would also have to probably have some sort of teleporter lifting mechanism, maybe, to just raise those sills up to the required height. Okay, so that's just a wee two-dimensional sketch there, the scaffolding and the teleporter there lifting the sills up. So obviously then they would be transported across, and then the house was here then. Now the scaffolding would be bolted onto the side of the wall as well too. So lifting system is shown, right? So then we can just call that, label it, make sure and label it. Lifting system, and use the correct lifting procedure and platform height. So the height's important, okay, here, okay, and also a toe board is very important. Okay, so the toe board, well, I'll put down here, we'll set that, the toe board to prevent what? To prevent tools from falling down. That stops the tools from falling. So can we all see that now there? You can always pause this and read over it and go back on it. It's the beauty of a video is you can stop me and start me whenever you want. So that's that one done. Now, platform height is covered. So that's part A. That's fitting the windowsill. Right? So the second bit of that now is, I'm actually giving a new sheet here because it's coming through a bit there. Right, so the second part, so laying pipes in a deep trench, right? So you need, so you're going to have your trench, right? Let's get to this trench again. So the digger has obviously excavated this, or the excavator even has obviously excavated this. This is only a section of it here now of this trench, right? There's the trench there now. Okay, and your cables are going to be laid down here at the bottom of the trench. Now, so what you need is, you need to have a rail covering the top to prevent workers from falling in here, down in, right? You also need what they call a reinforced trench box, and we looked at these before in class, but for all the world they're just a box like that there, and you have reinforcement going across like that there, and all that does is that provides unilateral force between the two plates to prevent them from falling and collapsing on the worker down here. And this would be lifted in by the excavator, okay, down in there and placed between the trench. It would be the exact width of the trench. These here are adjustable, okay. And so you'd have an exclusion zone as well too, to prevent people from walking too close. We can set that there. Exclusion zone. So that's, let's label these now. So rail to prevent worker from falling in, and trench box to prevent the trench from collapsing. And what else did we say there? Yeah, so you had 2 points there, and we had an exclusion zone. Exclusion zone to prevent workers getting injured by machines. And am I still videoing here? Yeah, still recording away. Exclusion zone to prevent workers getting injured or getting injured by machines. Now there's another thing you could do there as well too, and it's common as well. If you didn't have one of these, you could effectively slope the trench back like that. So when you slope the trench back like that, by increasing this angle here, okay, and decreasing this one, you're effectively, it's less likely for this to fall in because it has to move up, okay, and gravity is going to stop that because it's forcing it down. So you're just basically preventing anything from falling in. Obviously you're making your trench wider, okay, but it's going to stop it from collapsing on the workers, okay, because this can't actually move up. Whereas here it can fall directly straight down like that. That there, the disadvantage to that is it actually takes more work to, because you have more of a pass to take, 2 passes to take with a bucket. Maybe here you might only have 1, so that takes longer. But it obviously is safer if you did not have this option. So that would be slope the trench walls. And now, so the last one then was excavating an area where there are underground electrical cables. Now again, you can see here, look, I'm using notes and sketches. Now when I do this, I prefer to do my sketches sometimes before I do my notes. Obviously it flows, you can do what you want to do, there's no set way of doing it, so either or suffices, but generally speaking there's marks going for both, so make sure that you have both. And again, this is all just demonstration purposes only. It's not Picasso, it's not artwork, and everybody can sketch, so it just takes a bit of practice. These are all well able to sketch. Now, so part A. So excavating in an area where there are underground cables. So again, why wouldn't you bring in an infrared detector, okay, just to locate any cables that might be underneath. Okay, so this can be used to locate buried pipes. Okay, and that there is called a ground penetrating radar. Okay, so services, so you'd obviously mark them then. Now sometimes they're marked with paint or spray along the ground, so you might have your, say that's your ground there, and your cable might be here, okay, running underneath the ground, right? Well then spray paint along that then obviously would alert any excavator driver to the fact that there's cables underneath. Okay, that's different now to overhead cables. So overhead cables, we said before, they're alerted. How do we say about them? That there is alerted by one of these things here, so that'll go under the cables, and anything that passes underneath here would actually know that there's cables overhead. So that's what that's for. So the two different things, just to highlight where they're located. Now okay, bright pipes using, yep, dig trial holes, okay, to confirm. So you can by hand to confirm the location, and obviously you would refer to plans of the pipes as they would be on maps, okay, and you could contact the ESB or whoever the supplier is, just to double check that. So you would. And then we're nearing the end of it now. So on to part C. Okay, and there'll be less sketches in part C. Usually part B is where the sketches are. So part C. 2 reasons why younger workers are more vulnerable to accidents. Okay, so why are young people or younger workers more vulnerable to accidents? Now, it's not this is probably not a general statement. This is more likely. So they've less experience, for one, you could say, right? Okay, that's one reason. They might ignore advice. As teenagers think there's know it all, so they might ignore advice. So when you're young, you think that nothing bad's ever going to happen to you and that you're invincible. So maybe they're more likely to take risks and maybe not the correct training. basically them kind of things there. You know, maybe another word you could throw in there is the invincibility of their youth. Okay, so that's more than enough there to get you full marks. Loads, that's loads. So 3 strategies to combat this, okay, or to encourage a safety culture among workers. So with a culture, you need buy-in. Okay, so you have to promote it, you have to practice what you preach. So management must or should hold safety meetings, okay, and encourage safe practice. Reward good, safe work. Provide comfortable PPE, so that's personal protective equipment, and then also obviously give training. Give training for workers and update it regularly. So that needs to be on an ongoing basis, you know, to keep a culture going like that. And very often, if everyone buys into this, as we said at the start, it's more likely to succeed. Okay. Now, so that's that covered, that question now, and have a go at it. Use my examples and think of a few of your own. And if you have any questions, we might go through kind of a question and answer session. Then maybe it might be easier on the on Monday at 12:35. So that's when we usually have class time. So until then, I'll say good luck to you folks. Bye bye.